Yo, what is good, guys? It's your boy Make. Welcome back to another Haikyu Fly High video. And yes, Akaashi, Yamagata, and Emmy are going to be the next Select Recruit SSR players. And no, it's not going to be alongside Bokuro. It's going to be the week after Bokuro is released. And I know a lot of people are saying it's a little weird. Why isn't Akaashi with Bokuro? But it's just because of the SSR Recruit week balance that they did. I have no idea. But either way, I'll just be explaining who you need to look out for and why you might want to skip or get certain characters. But either way, the Select Recruit is just straightforward. So just like my previous Select Recruit guide, I already have the things popped up: Yamagata, Akashi, and Emmy. And I'm going to just start off real quick with Yamagata. You only want to get Yamagata if you're running Shira. Apart from that, he's just a meh libero. Like, you wouldn't need him at all. As you can tell with his skills, it's alright. He gets reflexes increased, and then just save increased again. And then a performance of receive with his skill 4. And then for his skill 3, if the opponent block result is perfect, Yamagata saves as increased. And his skill 3 is honestly very bad in my opinion, because first of all, you want the opponent's block to be perfect, and most of the time you just don't want that to happen, and it usually ends up being a score for them. But I guess the save helps it a little bit. But either way, you only want to get a Yamagata if you're going for the sheer build. For example, I already have in my videos all the lineups already, so if you're going to want to check it out, it's right here. It's the SSR Select Recruit breakdown. So I already have all the lineups here for Yamagata and just the sheer team in general. So if you want to check it out, you can check it out. But essentially, you just want to have him in the teams like this. I have a whole team lineups right here, you know, just depending on what you want to get. And Yamagata is essentially only here for the team synergy. So this is why it's very situational, and you only want to get him for the sheer team. And if you're just looking for lineups, just click this video. I'm not going to go over it again because this video may actually be long, and that's just me dragging it out when I already did it on this video. So if you're going to check it out, it'll be a link in the description and comment section. And for Emmy, he's a setter, but his main priority is being a pinch server because most of his skills is just serves. Like you see, his skill 4 is jump serve, his skill 3 it gets awareness whenever he serves, and he increases his power. He has a set move, but either way, it just goes back to another serve move. The serve move obviously causes a debuff right here, which is honestly pretty good, but it's only for a pinch server. So if you're looking for a pinch server, which is highly unlikely, or you're already fine settled with Yamaguchi, then it's completely understandable why you don't want to get him. That's why I'm saying it's a very easy dodge. There's just no point of getting him. You already have the full sheer team, as I already showed, so he's a very easy skip. It's essentially just between Akashi and Yamagata, and as I said, Yamagata is just only for the sheer team, and apart from sheer, there's no point of getting him. So this is why it's an easy skip depending on which team you're settling for. And we're gonna head straight for Akashi now. And Akashi, as we know, there's gonna be SP Akashi coming in like a year or like 6 months later. For SSR Akashi, is obviously worth getting if you're going for UR Bokuro. And as we all know, there are obviously gonna be UR Bokuro and SP Bokuro, and a lot of people are always asking me, who should I get, SP Bokuro or just UR Bokuro? Should I just save and not get UR Bokuro and just completely go for SP Bokuro? And my answer is always, if you're down to wait, you could just skip the UR version and then just go for the SP. But at the same time, I completely understand why you don't want to wait. There's just no point. You could honestly get both of them at once. Obviously, it'll put you at a disadvantage of getting an extra UR, but nonetheless, it's still possible to get both of these Bokuros. It's just once you get the other version of the SP Bokuro, you won't be able to use the UR one because you can't have 2 of the same characters on the thing. But either way, Bokuro can still be used endgame. You don't actually need SP Bokuro. Obviously, SP Bokuro is crazy, so you don't have to always combine UR Bokuro with Akashi, even though it's very good to have it for team morale. But you could also combine it with UR Oikawa, and he'll work just fine as a filler spiker, and especially if he has his S2, so that whenever he's in down mode, he at least gives some sort of buff. I forgot the buff, but it's good nonetheless whenever he's in down mode. And for going back to Akashi, as I said, he's mainly used with Bokuro, so if you're going for him, your main priority is going to be UR Bokuro. And his skill 1, essentially, if your allies receive or block is perfect, then all the allies' adverse effects are reset, and then, you know, Akashi's awareness is increased, and then the allies' team morale increases by 3. And this obviously works perfect with his memory, and while your side is in team morale awakening, when the equipper sets, the spiker restores 1 stamina and gains 2% attack technique for that spike. When the equipper clears the debuff, it also removes the target's down mode debuff. It means Bokuro has to receive or block and get a perfect, and then his down mode will go away, and it's not very beneficial anyways, because even if he gets out of the mode, his ult will still be in cooldown, and you want to maximize his ult with his team morale awakening. So it's kind of a waste to get him out of down mode. Unless he's your main priority spiker, then you're just going to have to maximize your S4, which essentially allows you to spam your ultimate whenever you get the chance. But it's highly unlikely because you probably have opposition like Mushijima by your side, or at least another wing spiker ready to help you. But besides that, it's still good just to get him out in general, because if there is a chance where he does get a perfect receive or a block, he's out of it. And honestly, unless you have S2, you'd rather just have him out of down mode, just because. Either way, the memory is still good to have, and stamina is always a go-to for me in my opinion, because stamina can make the characters on the court last longer, and that's very good for literally all the game modes, because you want your main spikers to be on the court as long as possible to do its maximum output. And it also gives attack technique, so that's a very huge bonus on the side. But either way, they also have a dual skill, and if Bokuto is in down mode during that dual skill, it will obviously get rid of it, and it's only once per game, so again, very situational when you use it. He has a setter dump here, and I know most of the time you're not going to use it. It just depends on who's serving. Like, let's say Ushijima serving next, then I guess it's good, but very situational and unlikely to happen most of the time, because it says if a point is scored with a setter dump, the power of the next teammate's serve after this play is increased by 10% of that teammate's serve as power. So his setter dump is just there just to be there, and that's not his main focus. He has skill 3, devoted set, essentially similar to Bokuto, where he needs to be in Team Morale Awakening, because then when it's active, for every 4 increase in team morale, Akashi's awareness increases by so on, so on, and so on. If his set results in a critical play, the first spike by an ally after this play is guaranteed to be a critical play. And this obviously works very good if Bokuto has S4, because for Bokuto's S4, as long as his power hit does not result in bad, he will have his ult cooldown reset. And this will obviously work with other wing spikers. I'm just stating if Bokuto's an S4, it will maximize this ability, because then you will be able to spam ultimates. But either way, this will be good just for Bokuto on his base stat anyways, or just for spikers in general because of the critical play. And then he has the skill for the usual set. Akashi sets with 240 and so on, so on, and so on of set as power. And you know it's just the basic stuff. But as I said in my previous Bokuto UR lineup video, it's not like you fully need Akashi. It just helps him a lot more with the morale and the skill reses. And if you are to get SSR Akashi for UR Bokuto, which is most likely to happen, then I will recommend skill res 2, because his skill res 2, when Akashi is on the court, his team morale increases by 10 every time the ball goes over the net. When an ally activates team morale awakening, resets the cooldown of usual toss. So it'll be a plus for his skill 4, and also a very huge plus for Bokuto, so he can get his team morale awakening and then go crazy with his ultimates. And I do have lineup for you guys. I also already have a UR Bokuto lineup video, and I'll leave the link in the comments in the description, but I'll do a quick overview of what you might have if you get UR Bokuto. And it's very situational, because for this lineup, some people might not have Ushijima, but if you do have Ushijima, this would be essentially what you might have in the beginning, because first of all, you get Akashi, and everyone I think has Nishinoya with Tanaka and Tsukushima. And then if you ended up getting Tendo Ushijima, you just have these paired up. And if you're wondering why Nishinoya and Tanaka here, 1, it's power based. 2, their bond every time a point has been scored, they gain morale. So that's obviously paired with Fukurodani. And why I'm stating that this team might be used in the beginning, because we're not going to get the full Fukurodani team right off the bat. So we're probably just going to have this team made up if this is what you're going for. This will obviously be how the team looks like when Fukurodani is here. You have the full Fukurodani team synergy with Ushijima if you end up having him, and Tendo, and then just Izumi here just to fill the gap. And he's just a very good wing spiker that we have for free to play anyways. And this team will work just fine. And if you do have Gosh, it wouldn't be bad to replace it, because Gosh has a skill whenever he scores, he will get the increase in 10 morale, which will be good for Bokuto. But is it needed? No, because you already have the Fukurodani team synergy. And depending if Ushijima has S2 or not, it could vary. So most of the time, you're just going to have Izumi here for free to play status, or whoever could fill the gap when Bokuto is not in his morale awakening and ready to ultimate. This will obviously upgrade in the future. Like for example, Izumi could be replaced with Korai, and Tendo could be replaced with Hirogami, and this will be essentially what you have. Again, a free-to-play way to go in the beginning will obviously be, instead of Korai, it will be Izumi, Ushijima will be Mad Dog, and then Hirogami could just be Tsukushima. But this is free-to-play and just full SSRs, so it's very situational and not too optimal. But going back to the upgraded version in the future, Korai will be here, and so will Hirogami, and Ushijima will most likely be here, so it will be good nonetheless. For the Oikawa team in the beginning, it depends on the situation you're in, and if you got very lucky or just pay to win, you could most likely run this team with Yamagata, Tendo, Gosh, Ushijima, with Oikawa, Bokuto, and Tsukushima. And as I said, very situational, and Bokuto here is essentially just a filler spiker, because the only time you'll be using Bokuto here is during his morale awakening, and it won't even last that long without, and I'm pretty sure it won't even last that long, so you only have 1 attempt. And if Bokuto is not with Akashi or a morale-based team, he'll be most optimal with his S2 and S4, because as we know, his S2, he will give buffs when he's in down mode, and in his S4, he can spam his ultimate, so during morale awakening, he has a chance to spam his ultimate because of Oikawa's awareness to crit. and it will help tremendously during Bokuro's S4. But I'm pretty sure I tested it out with Oikawa and Bokuro, and the team morale touches didn't last long for Bokuro, and he only had one attempt to ultimate, but I could be wrong, so keep that in mind. Obviously, there's a different variation to this team. Yamagata could be replaced with Nishinoya, Gosh here for Tanaka, and then you have a little bit more morale here, and it looks completely similar to the team 2. It's just Akashi is just swapped, and also just because I'm showing SSRs here, it doesn't mean you can't upgrade it. Tanaka could be replaced with Korai, Tsukishima could be replaced with Hirogami, and Nishinoya could either stay there, or you could also have Yaku here just because he's a better libero in general. Just for main power, I'll honestly stick for Nishinoya just because of the power base. So I don't want you guys to get confused on why I'm not adding Hirogami and Korai to the list. That's obviously going to be added during the upgraded version. I'm just showing you the free-to-play versions and essentially what we'll have in the beginning when the characters come out. So that's why I'm showing the lineups here first. I'll leave my UR Bokuto lineup video in the description and comment section, but this video essentially just covers an overview of Bokuto and what we'll have in the beginning. So clicking on my UR Bokuto lineup will just give you more access to other teams I have. And honestly, I don't remember what lineups I made there. I'm pretty sure I had a lot of SSRs there just for people who came new to the game and need free-to-play teams. And feel free to watch the share team video because I'll leave that also in the description and the comment section. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you join the Discord, leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.